morning everyone. I, Pratibha Chaudhary, Additional DIT, PR and PP, extend a warm welcome to all of you to this special edition of Samvaad. Friends, the government introduced the income tax bill in Parliament, a significant step towards simplifying and consolidating the provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961. This proposed legislation aims to enhance clarity, ease compliance, and modernize tax administration. To discuss the key aspects of the bill, like penalties, offences, and prosecution, we have with us today a very distinguished guest. We heartily welcome Shri T. Sankar sir. He is an IRS officer of 2003 batch, presently posted as CIT Appeal 52, Mumbai. In a career spanning over 2 decades, Sir has worked in diverse charges, including assessment, investigation, central administration at Mumbai, Ahmedabad, and Gandhinagar. He is a regular guest faculty at NADT, Nagpur. He has been associated with the committee constituted for redrafting of the Income Tax Act right from the start. We are honored to have you with us, sir. Thank you, sir, for joining us today in this Samvaad episode. We welcome you, sir. Sir, firstly, our viewers would like to know if there is any increase in penalties or punishment for any offence under the Act.
No, the provisions have been retained as it is, except for the fact that the redundant penalty provisions or prosecution provisions have been removed.
Sir, this brings me to my next question as to whether any new prosecution section has been introduced for any of the provisions of the Act.
No, as I said earlier, it remains the same. No fresh provision has been added.
Sir, did the government not consider reducing the punishment for offences for taxpayers?
The honest taxpayers need not worry, as the government encourages trust-based compliance. However, a minimum deterrence is required to ensure that the governing provisions and the statute is implemented effectively. So, the existing provisions have been retained without any major change.
Sir, our viewers would like to know as to what are the safeguards for taxpayers from prosecutions?
No taxpayer is prosecuted unless a specific violation is committed for which a specific punishment is prescribed under any provision of the Act. And besides that, all prosecution provisions are invoked or the prosecution proceedings are launched only after in-depth analysis and due diligence. Let me just elaborate on this a little bit. In the regular course of ranges, the approval of the administrative commissioner is required. Apart from this, if any appellate commissioner or joint commissioner needs, they can also launch the prosecution. And apart from this, all the taxpayers continue to have the benefit of availing the compounding provisions which is available even as per the existing Act.
Sir, our viewers would like to know if they have a pending refund under the Income Tax Act 1961. Will they get it after the new Act come into force?
Yes, absolutely, and without fail. They will get it as per the due process and they will get it fully. All their rights and obligations remain intact.
Sir, has the faceless approval or registration been removed?
No, it has not been removed.
So, this brings me to my next question as to why has the government been vested with power to frame scheme and what schemes are proposed to be framed?
The faceless schemes presently are spread across various parts of the Act and the provisions are essentially the same. The faceless schemes are a method of implementing the various provisions of the Act. So, what has been done in the new Act is all of them have been consolidated and brought in a single place in a proposed section 532, and it also gives enough administrative flexibility so that government can frame such schemes keeping in mind the taxpayer convenience, taxpayer feedback and also the administrative requirements. So, the faceless scheme will continue.
So, what is the new concept of registration of valuers introduced in the Act?
The present Income Tax Act contains several references to the Wealth Tax Act in the context of valuation officer or registered valuer. As you know, registered valuer values the asset on behalf of the assessee and he also represents on behalf of the assessee. So, Since the Wealth Tax Act is no longer applicable, what we have done is the references to Wealth Tax Act have been removed and the necessary references have been brought to the Income Tax Act itself. So, provision of registered valuer has been brought in here.
So, will it be a big challenge to transition from present Income Tax Act 1961 to the proposed act?
See, for the vast majority of the taxpayers, they may not even feel that such a transition has happened. For the other small minority, there will be large number of handholding exercises, public outreach program, etc., which will be held basically to sensitize about the new provisions of the act. We don't foresee any problems per se, and as and when the parliament enacts it, the government will come out with guidelines as to how it can be made operationalized, etc.
So, will new rules and forms be prescribed for the proposed act?
See, once the bill is passed by the parliament, then these operational requirements will be looked into, and thereafter, whatever is required for taxpayer convenience and for administrative purpose, it will be done. And here I also want to point to you that there is also a section called Power to Remove Difficulties, which gives power to the government to bring out any circular for a period of 3 years, so that all kinds of difficulties in implementing the new act, if at all they arise, can be removed. The necessary details, they will be informed in due course because we have sufficient time for that.
Sir, our viewers would like to know as to how they can send their suggestions as regard the proposed act.
See, once the bill is placed before the parliament will take further call on it, and all taxpayers and citizens can continue to send their suggestions to CBDT or through their elected representatives in whatever manner, and certainly they'll be considered.
So, how many suggestions were received by the government while formulating the proposed act, and what is the outcome thereof?
See, over 20,000 suggestions were received in the dedicated portal designed by the CBDT. They were all suitably examined, and wherever we felt it was necessary, we incorporated the changes in the act.
So, this brings me to my last question of this session. Have all the changes made in the recent budget have been incorporated in the proposed act?
Yes, the changes made in the recent budget have been incorporated in the proposed act.
We are truly grateful, sir, for your time and for enlightening us on such an important subject. Your insights into penalties, offences, prosecution, and miscellaneous provisions of the new act will be immensely valuable to our viewers. Thank you once again. Namaskar. Jai Hind.